Hello and welcome. Today is the 14th of August, 2017. Welcome to this evening's Bitcoin update as the rate of ascension continues to ascend at a flattering extreme rate as the levels breaking lower 4,000. Well, it's in at 43.39. Basically in at all-time highs, and it's going to retrace at some point either through price or some sort of a time correction. And in this case we had one bit of a correction going sideways in here, and then of course the one price correction, which was a failed move, and yeah, fast move to the upside, most certainly to magnificent proportions. And if we're going to keep going up like this, we have to think, okay, what is the most realistic targets? It's when something is in a bull market like this, especially in the cryptos, we're seeing a lot of this just going straight up. And I've been pointing out too that this is different from the previous rallies, as one of the things that we never had before was an extreme up day from a sideways 18 average. The only time we ever get these big moves are in situations when you are in a big uptrend. And this is one of the bigger ones in general. I mean, if you look back, this is a log chart. The only one you can compare it to is this one in here, and it's forming a more impressive rally, to say the least, and that is true within the weekly term time frame, as none of the breakouts within this had this kind of move from the 18 average of lows from the bottom, huge green candle, and one sideways move, huge acceleration, leaving it. When we look at all the previous times, there's no huge breakout in here, but it sure had a nice run higher. And this grinded its way up from this point. Oh, and if this didn't grind its way up, oh, it certainly did. This one had some decent days, but, you know, decent. And as was this one in here, decent. So the last time it's had any kind of extreme move would have been the top at the end of 2013. Would have been the last time. And also when we look at this chart and you try to figure out, okay, where do we go from here? A couple ways of doing it is, number one, we got this low in here, which is in and around, we'll say 1,000, I think it was 900 and change, up to, 3,000. So there's a situation where it did about better than a 3x gain. So 3x gain on 1,700 and such, 1850. You're talking about, it could go up to like 58-ish or so. That would be a 3x gain. Another way of looking at this too is we're looking at the breakouts. And each time it has a breakout, it usually has a decent a break above resistance. But in this case, it had a monstrous break above here. So therefore, this in here could very easily be comparable to something like this. Is it halfway on the weekly rally, that is, because it's so easy to determine where the highs and lows are. Oh, there's a low, there's a high, there's a low, high, low. So easy to figure out. So therefore, is it halfway on its turn to the upside? I don't know, but there definitely does seem to be some good momentum moving forward. Let's shorten out the time frame. 4-hour time frame, this has been nothing but a runaway freight train, or I don't know if freight train's a good term, but you have the big up move, little correctionary move in here, up move, some nice correctionary move as well. And since this up move has begun, there's been a little bit of this sideways correction, but it consistently is correcting with higher lows and higher highs. And if we look at even more in depth right now, we can notice, at least since in here, we got this low, this low, this low. Oh, that trend is going on. It's not going basically down. And already we got a trend line I can draw in here. And this thing is going to be already, that's just not big enough. It's So we got a trend line in here, something like this. But we can see it's lifting off of the support area. Another indication this thing might be ready to go for a decent leg higher. Finally, we'll take a look at this on a 15-minute time frame. So relatively decent short-term analysis within. But on this point of view, after this sideways correction, the market behavior is changing. It's in the process of breaking out past this resistance area field. Thus, it makes it relatively easy to determine that this thing should be 4,500 in no time. I would think, I mean, whatever you do based on your trades, your own risk, your own reward. But obviously, major level of support established 3 hit times at 42. And then you have boom, 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 this 3-time area hit of resistance. And you're breaking past it. But now this is now the 3rd consecutive period after the break up to the resistance area peak, where it's just supporting this level. And let's shorten it out a little bit more. And yep, she's going on the 5-minute, meaning this, if there's ever a spot where you just buy now and you're looking for that pattern, right here, this is, to me, I think this is one of those spots, because as we state, this is that resistance level field here again and again. Of course, you got this level point, which was resistance. We can see that the support came down the 18 average of highs. It's now breaking past with a nice move right now above this resistance point, thus making new all-time highs. I expect there's a decent chance that this thing is going to continue on going. Now, I did sell some Bitcoin for silver, and it's basically a half a day's work, actually, because I was able, through NLC2, to basically day trade some amazing gains today. And it's also a measure of taking some profits every now and again. I did such right here. Actually, you know, I did it I paid for it 5-6 seconds before this thing started falling. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I like the strategy where I realized that the amount of Bitcoins that I can be able to pay with doesn't cost anywhere near like it did before. And if the manipulation within the silver markets doesn't expire, or and the prices just stay below the 25-30 mark, and even that's a big handle, the 25-30 level, then the amount of that's going to cost for Bitcoin to get the physical silver and even the physical gold for that matter, and all other things that you want to buy with it, becomes so much cheaper. This thing is in a very good uptrend, and it's one of these things where it's like almost a gimme to state, I think anyway, that this thing will leave 4 figures and then some, meaning it's either going to well break out past 10,000 within probably this decade, easily I would think within the decade, well past 10K, or break well past 1,000 to the downside. And I have to think the former is the favorite, at least to happen first, as it's playing through. This is a free market, and this isn't something like the powers that be or any type of big banking institutions can decide to just crash this down, because you need to have enough Bitcoins to do such. And well, quite frankly, it's in a situation where I think the free market is thus ruling. As people say, free market rules. I do think the free market is ruling in this nature. And within such, there's going to be a lot of up and down swings along the way. We're in a very stellar uptrend. It's going to correct at some point, but this thing can go up another 1,000, 1,500 points before it stops going lower. Maybe it goes up another 100. I really can't tell, but I do realize if this has some big gains like 44, 45, 46, that having oh my goodness, a day where it's up $600, up 15% to like 52. Okay, that's not a surprise. That's the type of things you expect when you're in this type of full-fledged bull market. All right, thank you for tuning in to this video, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.